All right, well, let me know what questions you have.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation. Uh, I I landed on a YouTube channel, I don't know by chance. I was so excited to see that it was quite informative. I learned a lot of things from your videos, and I was very excited when I saw that I could have a one-on-one chat with you concerning my application. Yeah. So I shared with you my SOP, and I think you had time to go through it, and I was happy to see that you were able to give me a very quick feedback. Yes, the first and the last paragraphs.
Yeah, I'll do a quick read for you. Yeah, I think the first paragraph, perfect. I like that you opened with the quote. Yeah, I love your final paragraph too. I think you should still just be more explicit, like, I want a PhD so that I can become a faculty at a research institution, or like, I want to be a director of a nonprofit. I would actually state your career goal.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I'm going to specify that. So my other question concerns, I'm an international applicant. I did my Bachelor of Medicine. I am currently concluding my master's in reproductive health. So all of my experience is in Africa. So I wanted to know what are the key aspects that admission committees look for in an international applicant, especially from Africa. Because I tried to check on most of the programs to see if among the applicants I could find someone with 100% experience from Africa and so on. But I realized that some of them either did their masters from the UK or the US and so on. So I wanted to know the key aspect that could probably make my application competitive.
Yeah, so I would say, this is not my area of expertise, unfortunately. All I can say is that it doesn't prevent you from getting into programs if you've done your undergrad and master's and all of your prior training outside of the US. I think it really is about how you describe your research experience, how impactful it is, and that you're going to be able to succeed in a program in the US. And I think what might actually be helpful is if you have you found my step-by-step blog on applying to PhD programs?
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. So on that blog, I talk about networking with professors before applying. So on those phone calls that you have, hopefully with potential advisors and faculty, I would talk about, I would be very honest about, hey, this is my educational and training background up until now. I've completed all of it outside of the US. Can you tell me if I would be a good fit for this program? Like, if there are other students that you've worked with that have similar backgrounds, like you can ask, specific faculty members this question, because I'm sure that the answer is actually going to vary school by school, sort of what they're looking for in their prospective candidates. So that's why I don't really want to say anything and be like, okay, I don't think there is like the three key or the couple of key secrets or the key tips that can answer your question in this case. I do think it's going to be somewhat specific and unique to each program.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, there are some schools that specify that you do not need to contact advisors. So in this case, do I still need to contact the potential advisors, or do I just apply without reaching out to them?
So unless they say that you are explicitly not allowed, like if you reach out, it will actually hurt your application. I don't think it's a bad idea to still network with potential advisors and faculty members in the department that you're applying to. It just puts something to your application when they see it come through later on. They'll remember you, you'll stand out a little bit more. And again, you'll be able to ask some of these questions of, are you a good fit for the program?
Oh, okay, I understand. Okay, my other question is about my research interests. So, I was working on my academic CV, and then I was advised that I should mention my research interests. And then I was wondering how many research interests am I supposed to outline? Um, is there a specific number that I should not exceed?
Do you mean like just listing like different topics that you do research in? I actually don't have that on my CV. I just have all of my prior research experience like organized as if it was like work experience. Like I've done research in this as a research assistant and then what dates and stuff, but I don't have like a just more general which I don't think would hurt, but I don't think there's a limit or a like a magic number. And I don't know if you necessarily need to have that at all.
Oh, okay. So I can remove that section from my CV.
Yeah. And you'll talk about, I think it's more important to talk about your research interests and your areas that you hope to do research in your personal statement. That's where it will really stand out.
Okay. So according to the to my SOP that you went through, do you think I was really explicit about my research interests?
Why don't I let me remind myself? I remember it being very specific. Yeah, you talk about how you have published work, you're pursuing your master's, data collection, analysis. Yeah, I mean, field-based research, it's all in there. So, yeah, I think it's very explicit and very specific on your research experience.
Okay. Well, that's good. Um, okay. I think this is my last question is about research experience. There are programs, some of the programs were asking for an additional kind of statement to describe quantitative experience, quantitative research experience. So, what exactly do they expect in this section?
So I have been hearing of this more and more that schools are requiring both a personal statement and then a statement of research or a statement of purpose. So is this like a completely like how long is it like just a couple like 500 word? Like do you have a word limit of what some of these programs are asking for with what you just described?
Yes, 500 words.
Okay.
Some of them are up to 1,000 words. They ask
Okay.
you to explain your quantitative research experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that would I would just sort of take some of the things that you wrote about in your personal statement or your statement of purpose, your more kind of your main key document, and really go into you can sort of take out the story component and just really just cut to the chase and talk about like these are my analytic skills, these are my quantitative skills. I can use these softwares. I've used these quantitative models, really get into that or if you've done qualitative research too, talking about your qualitative training, research, any courses you took to support this, that's where you would sort of just go more in depth on the nitty-gritty skill sets that you have.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, there's another question that just came up. I saw some of the schools ask about which other schools have you applied to? So, uh, I don't know. How am I supposed to answer that kind of question?
Yeah, that question also, I feel like I overthought it too much when I was applying. And then I think at the end of the day, programs know that you're applying everywhere. It's almost kind of strange when you don't apply. I mean, it's not strange, but I mean, I think more often than not, they know that students are applying to multiple programs and they're applying to, top programs. So I think that it's okay to just be honest and state where you're going, where you're applying. And if that is the reason why they don't choose to interview you, then you don't want to be at that program anyway. So I would just, yeah, I would just be honest in answering that question.
Okay, because I was really skeptical about that question. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
it's optional, I would skip it. But if they require you to put something down, just be honest.
All right. I understand. Yeah, I think those were some of the questions I had.
Yeah. And that really quickly about what other schools you're applying to, that may also come up when you interview. And I think it's also, again, important to be honest versus like skirting around the subject. Like, again, they know you're applying to other top programs, so it's okay to be honest about that.
All right. I
And I wish I
understand.
had felt more confident being honest when I was applying. So, yeah.
Okay. So how many schools did you apply to?
I applied to 10, which
Wow.
some people thought was on the higher end, but for me, I was like, I just want to increase my chances of getting in anywhere. And I tell this to a lot of students that I mentor, which is grad school is a numbers game. You have an amazing background, an amazing statement of purpose, like you are setting yourself up so well, but sometimes, at the end of this whole process, it kind of comes down to like, well, there's only a certain number of spots. And it's not about how qualified you are, but just like how many spots they have. So I think that I always recommend people to apply to more programs to increase their chances of getting in somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually considering applying to 7 programs.
Yeah, seven's a good number. That's still a pretty, and in addition to the number, also just making sure that you're applying to a variety of programs and they're not all Ivy League schools, and um that way you are setting up sort of like a realistic um possibility for you of getting into different places.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Yeah.
Of course. Any other questions?
Um, well, for now, I think that's all I had in mind. Um, thank you so much for the guidance, the advice. That's been really helpful. And I'm sure that I'll get selected in at least some of those schools.
Yes, I
Yes.
hope so too. You're doing all the right things. You're asking all the right questions. You're preparing really well. So I only wish you the best. Please keep in touch and keep me updated on your journey.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.